أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله اللهم أكرمنا بنور الفهم وافتح علينا بمعرفة العلم وسهل أخلاقنا بالحلم وارزقنا حلاوة الإيمان وصدق الإخلاص في كل حال أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the weekly Beacon Tafsir Circle. And inshallah, we intend to go through Surah Yusuf in the forthcoming weeks. Surah Yusuf is one of the surahs where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about prophets. And in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Yusuf alayhi salam as well as Yaqub alayhi salam. This surah is a Makki surah which is 111 verses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alif Lam Ra, Tilka Ayatul Kitabil Mubin. إنا أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا لعلكم تعقلون نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين. So this surah begins with Alif Lam Ra, حروف المقطعة, like other surahs. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that تلك آيات الكتاب المبين, that these verses or symbols, آيات الكتاب المبين, they are of the Quran al-Kitab, which is al-Mubin, the clear book, the clear Quran. So these are the symbols or verses of the clear book. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ, that indeed Allah has revealed the Quran. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا, an Arabic Quran, or revealed in Arabic language. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ, that perhaps you will understand. And if you look at this verse, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He has revealed the Quran in Arabic. So the Quran is revealed in Arabic, not in any other language. Although we don't speak Arabic, and not everyone in this world speaks Arabic, but Allah has chosen the Arabic language to reveal His divine message to us. And there are many reasons, but some of the reasons are that the language of Arabic, the Arabic language is very fasiha. It is a very rich language. With this language, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains to us. And because of its richness, it is easy to actually explain to people some of the messages that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to deliver to us. So therefore, what we find that the Arabic language is al-lugha al-fasiha. It's a very rich language. And therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen to reveal the Quran in this language. And in fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed Ashraful Kutub. Let's say the best kitab, or the most honored books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Kitab. Bi Ashrafil Lughat, in the most honored language. Ala Ashrafil Rusul, upon the most honored prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bi Ashrafil Malaika, again with the most honored angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكَانَ ذَلِكَ فِي أَشْرَفِ بُقَاعِ الْأَرْضِ, and it was revealed in one of the best locations. فِي أَشْرَفِ شُهُورٍ, again in the most honored month, which is Ramadan. So therefore, if we look at the position of Al-Quran and the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed the Quran, it is one of the most honored books, Ashraful Kutub, بأشرف اللغات in one of the most honored languages, and ala ashraf al-rusul, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent this kitab upon the most honored prophet alayhi salam. And again also bi ashraf al-malaika, and the most honored angel of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Jibril alayhi salam. And in the best location, Makkah, fi ashraf shuhurin, in again the best month. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this Quran. So Allah says, Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'qilun. And then Allah says, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن إن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص, that we relate to you the best of stories. And again it is mentioned in Tafsir ibn Kathir that some of the companions came up to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they said, لو قصصت علينا, if you were to tell us stories, because people like stories. So they came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, لو قصصت علينا, that if you were to tell us stories. And then it is mentioned that فنزلت هذه الآية. So this verse was revealed. Allah says, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص, that indeed we reveal to you the best of stories. They wanted qasas, stories, but Allah revealed أحسن القصص. They just wanted stories because people like stories, but Allah revealed أحسن القصص, the best of stories. It is mentioned by Ibn Jarir from Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. There are a number of backgrounds, but there's another background of this revelation, that again there are 2-3 narrations that Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu came up to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with some chapters from previous revelations. And there are 2-3 different narrations. According to one narration, he recited to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and according to another narration, that he came up to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, that he received from previous revelations, should he read out to the Prophet alaihi salam. And on both occasions, it is mentioned in Tafsir that when Umar radiallahu anhu, according to one narration, he recited, قال, that فَغَضِبَ, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam became angry. And according to another narration, that when he said, shall I read out to you? And again, the Mufassirin say that قال فَتَغَيَّرَ وَجْهَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم, that the face of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the color changed. And upon this, قال Abdullah ibn Thabit, another companion, he said, فَقُلْتُ لَهُ, he said to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, أَلَا تَرَى مَا بِوَجْهِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم, do you not see what happened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that his voice, his color changed? And then upon this, فَقَالَ عُمَرَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ رَضِينَ بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا وَبِمُحَمَّدٍ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ نَبِيًّا وَرَسُولًا. Again, one of the famous words that we recite in the morning. So upon this, the Umar radiallahu anhu reaffirmed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by saying that رَضِينَ بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا, that we are pleased with our Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا, and we are pleased with Islam as our deen, and وَبِمُحَمَّدٍ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ نَبِيًّا وَرَسُولًا, and we are pleased with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as our prophet. Because anyway, Umar radiallahu anhu was coming up with other revelations. And this is where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, even if Musa alayhi salam was to come, he would still follow Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Umar radiallahu anhu, he sort of confirmed and reaffirmed that we are pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are pleased with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are pleased with Al-Quran. Now here we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they wanted stories, and Allah said, نَحْنُ نَقُصُ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ, the best of stories. Just a couple of points with regards to the stories of the Quran. As we know that the Quran, broadly speaking, if we divide it into 3 sections, 1/3 perhaps we can say consists of al-ahkam, do's and don'ts. 1/3 consists of akhirah, about hereafter. And 1/3 talks about various stories. Qasasul Quran, the stories of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates stories in the Quran, stories after stories. There are so many stories, not just about the prophets, but also about as-sabiqeen, the people who came before us. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about those stories that huwa al-qasasul haq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna hadha lahuwa al-qasasul haq. That the stories which are mentioned in the Quran, they are al-qasas al-haq. They are the most true stories. They are not fairy tales. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, because this is 1/3 of the Quran, there are so many stories in the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Inna hadha lahuwa al-qasasul haq. Surely these stories that are mentioned in the Quran, they are al-qasas al-haq. They are the most true stories. So they are not fairy tales. They are not made up. They are the true stories. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the second point is, huwa ahsanul qasas. Not just true stories, but they are best of stories. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen the best of stories from the mankind. Because mankind, we have stories in our life, isn't it? We all have stories in our life. If we were to record it and perhaps give it to some filmmaking people, they can make good films. Because we all have stories in life. Individually we have stories. Family-wise we have stories. Society-wise we have stories. So individually and collective we have stories. Okay? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen those stories for us, but He has chosen the true stories and the best of stories. So Allah says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ. And therefore, because they are the true stories, and because they are the best stories, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah يَقُصُّ قَصَصَ السَّابِقِينَ. That كَذَلِكَ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ مَا قَدْ سَبَقَ وَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ مِنْ لَدُنَّا ذِكْرًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He relates to us, He narrates to us stories عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ مَا قَدْ سَبَقَ, from the news, from the events, those which took place before us. وَقَدْ آتَيْنَاكَ مِنْ لَدُنَّا ذِكْرًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, therefore, فَقْصُصِ الْقَصَصِ. Allah says that فَقْصُصِ الْقَصَصِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. So tell them, narrate to them stories. Allah tells us the true stories, the best of stories. Allah narrates the stories, and then He tells us, narrate the stories. So therefore, whatever Quranic stories we come to learn, we narrate it to others. Why? What is the objective? What is the purpose? Why do you want to listen to stories? And why should we be telling others the stories, and in particular the Quranic stories? Number one, perhaps we can say the objective of Quranic stories. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. That they will watch a movie, once it finishes, they sit down and they think about it, they reflect. This is human nature. That when human beings we watch something, whether a film or a documentary, whatever, you think about it, you reflect upon it. Some people cry, some people laugh. It happens. It makes you think. It makes you reflect. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Perhaps they will contemplate. Perhaps they will reflect upon the stories. The second objective could be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَا نُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. To strengthen the heart of the Prophet alayhi salam. When you go through difficulties in life, problems in life, and then someone comes to you and says, it's okay, don't worry, I've gone through the same experience, or so and so have gone through the same experience. It's okay, this is part of life, this is human life. Get a little bit of comfort, isn't it? You think, okay, so I'm not the only one. There are other people going through the similar problems. Okay? And this is human nature. If we see other people going through the difficulties, so we feel we are not the only one, on one hand. On the other hand, if we see other people are also part of it, it just gives us the collective feeling, whether of joy or of sorrow, happiness or anything unfortunate. It just gives us the confidence or the comfort. So man uthabbita bihi fu'adak, to strengthen, because the Prophet ﷺ was told those stories to strengthen the qalb of the Prophet ﷺ, to give him support, to give him comfort, to give him confidence, so that he can continue with the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third point could be, or the objective of stories could be, عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قَصَصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. That in those stories, there is what? Ibrah. There is lesson. For who? لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. For the people of understanding. The people who can contemplate, the people who can think, the people who can reflect. There are lessons for them. We see so many things, isn't it? Not everyone learns from everything. Some of us, we see things happening in front of us and we take lesson. Others, we're damn care, isn't it? We still drive roughly. Some of us will see that, accident taking place and we become more careful drivers. Or other things, we become more careful. Others, we don't take lesson. So therefore, عِبْرَةٌ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Not for everyone. Ibrah, there are lessons for the people of understanding. So inshallah, with this background, we will approach this story and perhaps, inshallah, we will take lesson from these stories. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ بِمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ وَإِن كُنْتَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. So we relate to you the most beautiful of stories, in that we reveal to you this portion of the Quran. Before this, you too was among those who knew it not. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَإِن كُنْتَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. If we hadn't revealed those stories to you, you were unaware of those stories. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. So what happened when Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ. And remember, when Yusuf alayhi salam told his father, يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. This was said by Yusuf alayhi salam to his father. And his father, وَأَبُوهُ, هو يعقوب عليه السلام, ابن إسحاق عليه السلام, ابن إبراهيم عليه السلام. So the father of Yusuf is Yaqub عليه السلام, ibn Ishaq عليه السلام, son of Ishaq, ibn Ibrahim عليه السلام. So you can see the chain of connection. كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, الكريم ابن الكريم ابن الكريم ابن الكريم يوسف ابن يعقوب ابن إسحاق ابن إبراهيم. This is the chain. That Al-Karim, Ibn Al-Karim. The Prophet ﷺ, Al-Karim, the most honorable, respectful. Okay. Al-Karim, Ibn Al-Karim, the son of, again, Ibn Al-Karim. And son of Ibn Al-Karim, Yusuf, Ibn Yaqub, Ibn Ishaq, Ibn Ibrahim alayhi salam. It is reported by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu that Su'ila Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ayyun nas akram. Who are the most honored people or most honorable people? قال أكرمهم عند الله أتقاهم. The most honored people in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the ones أتقاهم, the ones who most fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قالوا ليس عن هذا نسأله. We're not asking about that. قال فأكرم الناس يوسف نبي الله. The most honorable Is Yusuf Nabiullah, Yusuf alayhi salam, the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ibn Nabiullah, the son of Nabiullah, the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ibn Nabiullah, the son of the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ibn Khalilullah, the son of Khalilullah, the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Referring to the whole chain of prophets and Ibn Karim. It is also mentioned, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, Ru'ya al-Anbiya Wahi, that the dreams of the prophets is Wahi, revelation. وقد تكلم المفسرون على تعبير هذا المنام. And then the Mufassirun explain about this dream that Anna al-Ahad Ashara Kawkaba, that 11 stars prostrating, عبارة عن إخوته, referring to the 11 brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam. وكانوا 11 رجلا, they were 11 brothers. والشمس والقمر عبارة عن أمه وأبيه, and again referring to the sun and the moon, his mother and his father. So what we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. So he went up to his father and he said, يا أبتي إني رأيت أحد عشر, that I saw in my dream 11 كوكبا, stars, والشمس والقمر, and the sun and the moon, رأيتهم لي ساجدين, they're all prostrating to me. So remember when Yusuf said to his father, oh my father, I've seen 11 stars and the sun and the moon, and I saw them prostrate themselves to me. When he said this to his father, Yaqub replied to him by saying, قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك. Oh my son, don't tell this dream to your brothers. Oh my son, don't tell this dream to your brothers. He said, قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا. They will plot against you. They will plot against you. إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين. And verily, shaitan is to man an open enemy. Now, he said, Yaqub alayhi salam said to his son, Yusuf alayhi salam, لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك. Don't tell them this story to your brothers. So are we meant to learn from this story that we should not share any good news with our people? Or let's say that sharing good news with your siblings, because in fact, they are indeed his siblings, isn't it? And the father is saying, لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك. Okay. It is mentioned in the Tafsir that the meaning of this verse is that هذه رؤيا الذي تعبير, the interpretation of this dream is that خضوع إخوته له وتعظيمهم إياه تعظيما زائدا, that it is about that him being honored by his siblings, by his brothers, okay, and of course also by his parents, بحيث يخرون له ساجدين, they even prostrated they prostrated to Yusuf alayhi salam, إجلالا واحتراما وإكراما, but that prostration was prostration of showing respect to their brother. Now the reason why the father said that do not share the story to your brothers. Now the question is, why should you not share good news with anyone? It's a good news for him, isn't it? Anyway, but why should you not share good news with anyone? And is there any repercussion that if you share any good news with anyone. Now what I need some help from you. That just think about real life scenario, okay? And just think about that, have you actually witnessed or experienced any negative impact of sharing a good news? Bringing that whole sort of message, bringing it home, that have you ever witnessed or experienced? Now of course if you have experienced and if you want to keep it anonymous, that's fine, we won't ask you to mention any name, What I want you to, just sort of reflect back, and just a couple of minutes, if you just share it with the people next to you, that have you ever witnessed? First of all, should you not share any good news with anyone? And number two, have you ever witnessed or experienced any negative impact? Any negative impact of sharing any good news? So let's say people shared their good news and the negative impact of that, I'm not asking that, that do we share? We do share our good news, But what I'm asking you that, have you witnessed or experienced any negative impact of any good news that either you shared with someone or you witnessed that someone sharing the good news? And what is the repercussion? What is the negative impact which affecting him in life? Okay. What I want you, inshallah, 2-3 minutes. Okay, think of 1 or 2 real life incidents and then see if we can actually relate those incidents, inshallah. The point of saying, I'm telling the truth. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us the true story, isn't it? So, not always you tell the truth. لِكُلِّ مَقَالٍ مَقَامٍ لِكُلِّ مَقَالٍ مَقَامٍ. For every statement or for everything, there is appropriate place. Okay, so you don't always tell the truth. See, sometimes we have the tendency, I'm telling the truth. What's the matter with you? This is the truth. But you don't always tell the truth. Okay, and what is interesting, yes, the main reason why the father told his son is because of hasad, envy, jealousy. Okay, and there's a hadith, mentioned here that, that أستعين على قضاء الحوائج بكتمانها فَإِن كُلَّ ذِي نِعْمَةٍ مَحْسُودٍ. That, seek Allah's help, whatever you want to achieve, or whatever you want to sort of attain, okay, by keeping it quiet,
Sorry, but we came to the idea that, when you do tell other people some blessing you've got, it can lead to hasad, but is the hasad necessarily, obviously, the consequences of that is from Allah. Like if someone wants to give you the evil eye or black magic, etc., essentially, it's ultimately from Allah, isn't it?
So that's I'm coming to that point, So فَإِنَّ كُلَّ ذِي نِعْمَةٍ مَحْسُودٍ. That every good ni'mah, well, every ni'mah is good ni'mah. Every blessing can be envied. Okay, so the question was, in relation to this, يجوز كتمان النعمة ولا يجوز كتمان العلم. There's another concept that لا يجوز كتمان العلم. It is not allowed to conceal the knowledge. It is not allowed to conceal the knowledge, but يجوز كتمان النعمة. But it is allowed to conceal the blessings. Okay. Now, of course, you know the story that some people were in the exam room and they were sharing the notes with others. And when they were asked, you're not allowed to do that, they said, well, kitmanul ilm, it's not allowed to conceal the knowledge, isn't it? Did you get that point? Some people were in the exam hall, sharing the answers with others. When they were asked, they said, well, it's not allowed to conceal knowledge. So kitmanul ilm is not allowed. So they were sharing with everyone. Okay. Now, so what we can understand from this is that, that sometimes, as Dr. Zaza mentioned, that we have to be sensitive. We have to be sensitive about impact, because Allah may have blessed with something that someone else may not be blessed with that, and therefore you have to be sensitive about sharing your good news. Okay, so therefore it is allowed to conceal the ni'mah, blessing that you have. So if you are rich, don't give out your bank balance to people. Okay. So similarly, if you have other blessings, if needed, You don't have to always, but if needed, again, you evaluate the situation, and if you think it's important to concede it, then you concede it. So, يَجُوزُ كِتْمَانُ النِّعْمَةِ وَلَا يَجُوزُ كِتْمَانُ الْعِلْمِ. It is allowed, permissible to hide your blessings. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Yaqub alayhi salam said to his son, قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ وَيُتِمُّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكَ وَعَلَى آلِ يَعْقُوبَ كَمَا أَتَمَّهَا عَلَى أَبَوَيْكَ مِنْ قَبْلُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ عَلِيمٌ حَكِيمٌ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, thus will your Lord choose you and teach you the interpretation of dreams or stories and events, and perfect His favor to you and to your offspring of Yaqub alayhi salam, as He preferred it on your fathers Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam, for Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. Then what we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ. And what will happen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will choose you. Yaqub alayhi salam saying to Yusuf alayhi salam that وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ. Okay? يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ, that your Lord will choose you the way He has chosen, and refers to his forefathers. Okay. وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. And He will teach you the science of interpretation, how to interpret dreams. So the question is, that will choose you for what? Will choose you for what? Right. Take 2 minutes, inshallah. Just try to explore that, وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ, that your Lord will choose you. So Yusuf alayhi salam will be chosen. Chosen for what? Right. Some deep answer, inshallah, not just sort of shallow answer. Just 2-3 minutes, inshallah, that that you will be chosen. I will choose you for what? وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ. 2-3 minutes, inshallah. Just a quick thought that that will choose you, but for what? Okay? Right, if we move on to the next verse, and then what we find, coming back to this particular point, it is mentioned in Tafsir ibn Kathir, كَمَا اِخْتَارَكَ رَبُّكَ وَأَرَاكَ هَذِهِ الْكَوَاكِبْ مَعَ الشَّمْسِ وَالْقَمَرِ سَاجِدًا, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen you. Of course, Allah has chosen Yusuf alayhi salam, otherwise why he was shown this dream? The dream of stars and sun and the moon prostrating to Yusuf alayhi salam. So this was وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ, that Allah has chosen you. يَخْتَارَكَ وَيَصْطَفَيْكَ لِنُبُوَّتِهِ, that Allah has chosen Yusuf alayhi salam for the prophethood of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, i.e. to make him the prophet. So he was chosen, but even the Prophet ﷺ was chosen. This is why we call him Mustafa. Mustafa is chosen. Okay. So Yusuf ﷺ was chosen. Okay. That Allah has chosen him to make him the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. And Allah is going to teach him تَأْوِيلُ الْأَحَادِيثِ, i.e. the ability to interpret dreams. Again, قال مجاهد, that even يعني تعبير الرؤيا, the ability to interpret dreams. And as we know from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, that he was able to interpret dreams. وَيُتِمَّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكَ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has perfected His ni'mah, His blessings upon him. As He perfected or favored upon his forefathers, his father and Ibrahim alayhi salam and so forth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَةٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُف, that indeed in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, وَإِخْوَتِهِ, and his brothers, آيَةٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ, there are signs for the people who are seeking the truth. What sort of ayat we're talking about here? What sort of signs we're talking here? So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفْ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ, that indeed in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam and in the story of his brothers, there are signs for لِلسَّائِلِينَ, the people who are seeking something, the people who are asking something. So what is there for us? What is there for the people who are seeking something? So what is it? What is in it for us? Can you give that 2 minutes, inshallah? Just think about it. Share it with the person next to you. What is it for us? لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفْ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ, that indeed in the story of Yusuf and his brothers, there are signs for the people who are seeking the truth. What sort of things are there?
Do you mean after the point you just...
No, from your, not what I'm saying. Well, from your sort of imagination, from your knowledge, from your understanding. Okay, just one or two sort of lessons that we can draw from this. If we continue with the verse, so Allah says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ إِذْ قَالُوا لَيُوسُفُ وَأَخُوهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَىٰ أَبِينَا مِنَّا وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ إِنَّ أَبَانَا لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. So they say, the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam said, truly Yusuf alayhi salam and his brother Benjamin, okay, are loved more by our father than we. But we are a goodly body, or a strong group, usba, a strong group. Okay, really our father is obviously wandering in his mind in a plain error. So when they say that our father, he loves more Yusuf than us. So imagine they sort of sat together and they're discussing. Okay, 11 brothers together. Okay, sorry, it would be 9, isn't it? Okay, sitting together, and they're saying, that إِذْ قَالُوا لَيُوسُفُ وَأَخُوهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيْنَا أَبِينَا مِنَّا وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ. Our father, he loves more Yusuf alayhi salam and his brother Benjamin alayhi salam, or Benjamin or Benjamin alayhi salam, Benjamin, his younger brother, more than us. And نَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ, and we are also a group of brothers, but he loves them too more than us. The other two were from sort of another mother, and them 9, they were from one mother. Okay? And then they said, إِنَّ أَبَانَا لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ, surely our father is doing something wrong. It's not being fair to us, isn't it? He loves them more than us. Okay? So, the question is, what is the impact of favoring some of your children over the others? And the question is, can you do that? And do you have control over it? Okay, we're discussing about the impact. Okay? So, the question is that what is the impact of favoring some of your children or one children there above the other? Okay? Can you do that? And do you have control over it? Okay? Very quickly, inshallah, 2-3 minutes. Is the question clear to you? Because we find a kind of allegation here, isn't it? The sons of Yaqub alayhi salam making an allegation against Yaqub alayhi salam. Okay? So anyway, quick discussion. Then what is the impact of some parents favoring some of their children over other children? And can you do that? And do you have control over that? Inshallah, very quickly, 2 minutes. So the question is, does it happen? It happens. That, some of us, we may favor more some of our children over the others. And here it's the same with more than one wife, it's the same issue. But the question here is, there are two levels here. One is adl, and the other is love and affection. Okay. Now, it could happen that you may love more than the others, and you may not have control over that. Okay. So therefore, what you are required to do, you are required to be fair to all your children. You cannot be unfair. So the difference between being fair and having love and affection. Fairness is processed through your intellect, aql, and love is processed through your qalb. So you become atifi, emotional. Okay? So therefore, in terms of fairness, there is no way it can discriminate. Because there is reasoning involved, there is thinking involved. So you cannot be unfair to any of your children. You've got to be equal, fair. And this is where you are responsible because there is reasoning involved. As for love and affection, where the qalb has a role to play, your qalb becomes atifi, emotional, and you display more love and affection to some over the others. Now, if you are unfair, then you are sinful because you have control over that. But if it's just showing love and affection, then you may not have control over that, and Allah won't punish you for that. And it's the same thing with more than one wife issue mentioned in the Quran. However, having said this, what we need to understand is that the role of aql and the role of qalb. So aql has the reasoning role, and the qalb has the emotional love and affection, being affectionate. Okay. Now, at the same time, even if we don't have control over love and affection, we've got to be very sensitive and careful how we display to our children. We've got to be very sensitive. Because you may not have control over that, that for some reason you just love one of them more than the others. Maybe because she makes tea for you, or maybe he does something for you, It just happens, But you've got to be careful how you display it. And this is where you've got to be fair in terms of, how you display it. Now, coming back to the story of Yaqub alayhi salam and Yusuf alayhi salam, although we hear, and there is a mention about that, but there is no dalil suggesting that he was sort of displaying in a public way. The story doesn't give us any additional information that Yaqub alayhi salam was unfair to his other children. Okay. So therefore, we can't take it, we can't establish any fact here. But what we can say that, prophets of Allah or prophet of Allah, they can't be unfair to people. They are chosen people by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
How did they sense it then? What is it? Are you saying that it was because it was an act of the heart?
No, I think what it is that, yes, they may have sensed it rightly or wrongly. But what I'm saying that, this story doesn't suggest any evidence to prove against Yaqub alayhi salam that he was unfair in dealing with his children. That, he favored two more than the others. We don't know. Okay.
Well, if you said if you're unfair, then you'd be sinful. And as prophets can't be sinful.
This is what I'm saying. He cannot be unfair. But he may have some gestures, and sometimes, as we know, the children can sense it. So he may have sort of displayed more love to the other two than the older ones, and they may have sensed that, and because of that, they may have sort of expressed that concern. Yes.
The display, though, of more love, you've said already, it's a feeling. So the qalb is a feeling; it doesn't display. Yeah? So the feeling can be unequal, as with the wives, that you can't help that, you're not accountable for that. But surely the moment that you make a display that is different, that is unfair.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the expression of love, more love for one another, makes it unfair. And it would seem that necessarily the story that we see, that these other brothers, unless they've wrongfully alleged this, that it would seem that there was an unequal expression of love for them to sort of group together and say, why does he love those two more than us?
That in itself can be subjective, isn't it?
This is what I'm saying, that there's no evidence suggesting that, though it can be speculated.
Yeah.
Okay, because no evidence is suggesting that, so therefore we can't go beyond that. Okay, yes, there could be other element that in a sort of sibling rivalry.
Yes.
Sometimes people wrongfully also come draw a conclusion, isn't it? So therefore, what I'm saying that that yes, they have raised that concern, okay, and we don't know what happened, and we are saying that you cannot be unfair. You may not have control over your qalb, but you cannot display it unfairly.
Yeah.
And this is the lesson we are to take from this. That in our life we've got to be careful that we don't cross the boundaries. We don't want to make any judgment with regards to that particular incident because there's no evidence suggesting or proving the case to be otherwise. Though Allah knows best.
So the display.
It's a different take on the whole thing. I mean, one thing for me, the way I conclude this, as I mentioned that there are two elements: the fairness and the love and affection. Okay, yes, you may not have control over love and affection, but you cannot display that unfairly. That's a fair point. But Prophet of Allah cannot be unfair. So this is how I see it. And there is no evidence suggesting that otherwise. And number three, we don't know what these brothers were up to because other sort of subsequent stories also suggest otherwise. That unfortunately they had some issues in life, But again, Allah knows best. Okay, someone, did you want to add something?
No, that's fine.
Okay, you've accepted Khadija's profound, deeper interpretation. Okay, now then what happened? We'll conclude shortly, inshallah. Then what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, So what they did, Allah says in the Quran, they started plotting. So they said, وَقْتُلُوا يُوسُفَ أَوِ اطْرَحُوهُ أَرْضًا يَخْلُ لَكُمْ وَجْهُ أَبِيكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ قَوْمًا صَالِحِينَ. So they said, kill him. Or send him somewhere far. So that he's not in the sight of the father. So if the father doesn't see him anymore, he will pay his attention to you. You will become his sole attention. Sometimes children, they seek attention, isn't it? Okay. So they said, kill him. Or send him somewhere far away. This that kill Yusuf or cast him out to some unknown land so that the favor of your father may be given to you alone. أو اطرحوه أرضا يخلو لكم وجه أبيكم وتكونوا من بعده قوما صالحين. And then what is interesting? And then they say, after doing that, then you have the time to become better, become salihin. Okay, they plotted something that like killing, and then you have enough time in your life to do the hajj when you become old. Okay, that you find time to become better. That من بعده قوما صالحين. So while they were plotting, وَأَلْقُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ يَلْتَقِطْهُ بَعْدُ السَّيَّارَةِ إِن كُنْتُمْ فَاعِلِينَ. So one of them said, don't kill him, but if you must do something, that if you have to do something, throw him down to the bottom of the well, he will be picked up by some caravan of travelers. And according to some Mufassirin, it was the eldest one. Again, sometimes the eldest is a little bit wiser than the younger ones, okay. So he said, that don't kill him, but if you need to do something about him, best throw him in the well. And then he'll be picked up by someone and he'll be gone. And you will not see him. And the father will not see him, and you will have the full attention of your father. So what happens? The story begins here. And our story should continue next week, inshallah.